Now that I have your attention, let's talk about the boots that get the most attention. And we're not focusing on colorways here, because obviously if your boots are neon pink, they're gonna stand out no matter what, and that's going to give you some attention because of it. I'm talking about physical models. Obviously, I've worn pretty much every shoe to come out in the last 5 years, around teammates, around random strangers, around all kinds of different people. Certain models people don't notice at all, and others people always ask about. Those are the models we're gonna be focusing on in today's video. Not necessarily the flashiest shoes, but the ones that definitely grab people's attention. What's going on, guys? Josh from soccerreviewsforyou.com, bringing you the top 5 soccer cleats that will bring you the most attention possible. So if you are an attention seeker, if you love to be in the spotlight, the shoes I'm gonna talk about in this video may be ones that you want to consider as your next boots, so pay attention. Also, if you guys enjoyed the top 5 series on my channel, be sure to support this one with a like. Leave your suggestions as always down below in the comments for future top 5 videos. And of course, if you're watching me for the first time, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video so far. Don't forget to subscribe though for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. So keep in mind that all of these picks are current models, soccer cleats that you can still actually buy. 2, the colorways are not the focus here because pretty much every modern soccer cleat is released in all kinds of different colorway options, some brighter than others, of course. So for obvious reasons, a neon green shoe is going to stand out more than a black shoe would. But again, the focus is not the colorways. And 3, all of these shoes, all of these picks are in no particular order. It's simply just the top 5. So with that out of the way, let's do it. Number 1 should be a fairly obvious choice. I think most of you would be able to guess this. It is any of the Midcut models from Nike, and I kind of lumped all the 3 top-end ones together: the Nike Mercurial Superfly 5, the Nike Magista Obra 2, and the Nike Hypervenom Phantom 3DF. These are all shoes that will get people talking and asking about the boots on your feet. Reasoning for that, Nike, obviously a very popular brand, and this being easily their 3 most popular models. People are really into the whole mid-cut thing. Nike kind of started it going back in 2014, and it's become more and more popular ever since. If you're a kid playing amongst the younger generation in general, these are extremely popular, and your teammates will be envious of the shoes on your feet. If you're an adult playing in a men's league, people will definitely talk about your shoes, but maybe not in the most positive way, depending on what their opinion is on modern soccer cleats. If they're old school Copa guys, they're probably gonna make fun of you rather than be envious of your shoes, but other people will of course like them and ask you about them. And again, if attention is the desired effect, these mid-cut models from Nike, whether it's the Magista, the Hypervenom, or the Mercurial, they will definitely provide that attention for you. Pick number 2 is probably one that you weren't expecting, and I did cheat a little bit because this is technically no longer a current model, but it's one that every time I wore them, people would always ask what these were, and that is the Mizuno Wave Ignitus 4. This is specifically the made in Japan model, but honestly I could say the same about any of the Mizuno Wave Ignituses, 1 to 4. Didn't really matter. Every time I would wear these, either around teammates or just other players in general, they would always ask what these were. And I know there's a lot of people online, maybe leave your opinion down below in the comments of this video, that don't like the look of the shoe, which is perfectly understandable, but honestly I never got too much negative feedback from people in person asking about these shoes. It was pretty much always compliments. Now I guess this would be something that is very much dependent on where you live. If you're in North America, Mizuno is not a very popular or well-known brand in the soccer scene. 99% of stores that sell soccer cleats will not have Mizuno products at all. This is pretty much exclusively sold online at select retailers. So most people do not know about these at all. They don't recognize the branding whatsoever, which I think is part of the reason why they ask about them. Some people think it's Diadora, some people think it's a Puma shoe, but it is in fact Mizuno. And really the design of the Wave Ignitus is unlike pretty much any other modern soccer shoe. It's kind of a throwback to what we used to get from the Adidas Predator line and the Nike T90 series, which are large rubberized striking element, the off-centered lacing system, the very aggressive external heel counter, and just the unusual design of this shoe in general. So if attention is what you're after, the Wave Ignitus 4 definitely will provide that. And I guess it's also worth noting that this is an excellent shoe as it is, that because it is an older model, you can get them at some pretty excellent prices right now. So it's definitely worth a look if you're on the market for something that is along the lines of an older T90 or an older Predator model. Number 3 is the Adidas Ace 17 Plus Pure Control. Doesn't matter what colorway, this is a shoe that people will ask about. One, because it's visibly laceless. The shoe is in fact laceless, not just a lace cover. And two, I think it has a lot to do with the unique cut of the shoe, which I did talk about in a recent video, but I thought this was kind of a weird looking shoe. And a lot of that has to do with the mid-cut aspect, the fact that it's cut completely flat. And then it also has a fairly large opening. So there's always excess material floating around your ankle that gives this shoe kind of like a boot look rather than a soccer cleat look. It doesn't necessarily fit super tight around your ankle, which again just gives them that unusual look, which is why a lot of people will ask about them, especially if you're playing in a men's league against older guys in general who maybe aren't up on the latest soccer equipment. When it comes to the younger kids, they're obviously very well aware of what this is, and it will garner a lot of attention because of the popularity of this particular model. So again, if you're after attention, if you're after a laceless boot, then the Pure Control is definitely what you want. Number 4 is another boot that you probably wouldn't expect to see on this list, but every time I wear these, no matter which model it is, people always ask about them, and it is the Under Armour Clutch Fit Force 3.0. This is of course the latest generation, but whether it was the first, the second, or the third generation, every time I wear one of these shoes, people always ask about them, and I'm not really sure why. I think they're pretty good looking shoes, and depending on the colorway, it can look a little bit more dramatic. This is definitely one of the more subtle colorways in terms of being all white, but you do have the pretty crazy pattern there on the surface. But I think the fact that it's an Under Armour shoe, a brand that everybody is familiar with, but don't necessarily see all that much in regards to soccer cleats, is partially why they might ask about them. The shoe fits really well, it looks really good on feet when you have the proper sizing, and I think as a whole, the Clutch Fit line from Under Armour, either first, second, or third generation definitely being the best so far, they're really, really good shoes. This is easily a top 10 boot in terms of top end models that are available right now, and for whatever reason, again, just based on my own personal experience, people always ask about them. Number 5 gets attention purely because people think you're wearing your grandpa's shoes, and they are the Pantofoladoro Lazzarini. Now this is a shoe that looks like it's straight out of the 1950s. It's super old school. It doesn't look like anything modern whatsoever. And you could make an argument saying, hey, the Copa Mundial looks really old too. Doesn't that get a lot of attention? Well, the Copas are fairly recognizable. It's one of the most recognizable soccer cleats out there. So while it is old school, a lot different from pretty much any modern shoe, people are familiar with them. Something like this is very exotic though, especially when you have it in a unique color like this, like bright blue or bright yellow, as I've worn before. So this is one of those shoes that people ask you about and really want to get a good look at because they really do think it's an old shoe, even though this is something you can buy right now. Now, honestly, is this the best experience in terms of a leather soccer cleat? In my opinion, no. They're heavy. They're not the most comfortable thing in the world. The sole plate is very, very stiff. They require a lot of break-in time, and the maintenance with something like this is just a little bit ridiculous. You're much better off with something like a Copa Mundial in terms of having a quality leather shoe with that old school fit and feel. But if you're looking to get the most amount of attention, if you're looking to get the most amount of looks, the Pantofoladoro Lazzarini is definitely the way to go. An honorable mention goes out to the Under Armour Spotlight 2.0. The zipper boot, as it's known on this channel, and as it's known amongst the boot enthusiast community. It's the only soccer cleat out there right now with a zipper, which is a little bit ridiculous and partially why this does get attention. When you're tying up your shoes at the start of warm-ups for a game or even at the start of a practice, you're the only guy on your team, most likely, that's going to be able to do this, which that turns heads every single time you do it. People will ask also about these shoes just because of the way they look. It's not the most attractive boot in the world, especially in this particular colorway. If you have the blackout ones, maybe it's not as noticeable, but again, that zipper definitely does draw attention. Now the feedback and attention you're getting isn't always gonna be all that positive because some people think that these are just brutally ugly. I'm personally one of those people, but if you just want people asking about your shoes for any reason at all, this will definitely bring you that attention. Anyways, guys, that is it for this top 5 video. I thought this was a really interesting topic because we see all these brands competing for really outrageous designs and crazy colorways, trying to stand out as much as possible. And given that I've worn pretty much all of these shoes around teammates, other players, and other people in general, I figured it'd be cool to give real feedback from my experiences with all of these shoes and legitimately talk about which of these shoes get the most amount of attention. Obviously, it's ultimately not that important. I don't think that you're gonna get scouted because your shoes stand out the most, but it's an interesting topic, it's kind of entertaining, and hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. Anyways, guys, if you did enjoy the video, be sure to support it with a like. If you do have any questions for me, as always, leave them down below in the comments and I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you do want to see more top 5 videos and you have any ideas, be sure to leave your suggestions down below in the comment section. If you're not subscribed already, perhaps watching me for the first time, be sure to hit that subscribe button for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all of my social media information linked down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, thanks for watching. Well, that wasn't worth it. Now I gotta pick all this up.